This room is not soundproof. I'm sure I just woke up Avery, I think, or Jamie, who's ever, I think it's Jamie that's underneath.
Yeah.
That's above us.
Oh.
So funny.
Oh, man. It's just like, you're never going to catch up.
Yeah. Well,
It's like, unless something very, very drastic happens. And
Right.
it's like, and what are we supposed to do in that? Like, people have bought homes for $400,000 or $500,000. Like, you can't just all of a sudden make homes, with the price of $200,000
Right.
again. Like,
Right.
it's just, that's going to kill people, But keeping the house at $400,000 price wise is killing people. Like,
Right.
what do you do? You put people in these situations.
Right.
Right.
Well, yeah.
It's like there's no wonder we voted for Trump back,
Well, and the thing is
because he was the closest thing to a good economy.
I have this argument with people, not argument, but just discussion. And a lot of people are like, well, it's this, or these are what the numbers saying. It's like, look, you cannot show the influence that one little thing has on the economy can be enormous. So like
Right.
BlackRock, for example, so it's not that like BlackRock bought most of the homes. Most of the homes in Utah are going to people that are from Utah. They just are moving to different places in Utah.
Uh-huh.
So that is true. But the problem is that even though that is the case, the market just works on future projection, right? So it's like, okay, people from California come in and they pay cash, and it's like that elevates it. And when that elevation happens, it's really hard in the housing market for it to go back down. So it goes up because some Californians come in, not a ton, but some. And so they're like, okay, so that happened.
Uh-huh.
Then they're like, okay, we then have, I'm going to have to end on this. I wanted Pikachu and the last guy on the other team took him. You suck.
Dang it.
But so then that rose it. And then BlackRock comes in and says, okay, like we'll pay cash and you won't have to, you'll be able to get this free, and so then that raises it. So the problem is like those things only had to happen a little bit. It didn't have to happen all that much. And then the market gets set. And then because Utah isn't really building outside of the valley,
Right.
it stays in the valley.
Right.
We're not building, and the things that we're building are like townhomes and upward instead of outward.
We're moving up,
Right.
not out.
And so then everyone's like, well, everyone wants to like own property and then just rent it.
Right.
And it's like our home doubled in value in 5 years. And we overpaid for it when we first paid for it. Like this home is not worth like what we had to pay for it.
Right.
It's not. And the thing is then you get stuck because it's like if you want to stay in Utah, you are having, that's what you're having to deal with. And so it's like, and it's hard to fix it because it's like, well, the government could come and fix it by giving us all like a huge lump sum. But if you do that actually will raise the prices because now it's free money that wasn't attached to anything.
Right.
And then you're like, so then what you're hoping for is like a crash. But if it crashes, that will affect the rest of the economy. It won't just affect housing.
Right.
So you don't want to crash.
Yeah, you don't want to crash because then you risk of losing your job,
Right.
losing your current home,
Right.
your parents losing a home, your sister
Right.
losing homes.
And so then the option then almost becomes to move. Because we could sell this house and buy a house in Texas outright.
Uh-huh.
And we would have more land and a bigger house.
Right.
But the thing is like, I love Utah. Like, I know some people like dog on Utah. Utah's a good place. I don't know what to tell anyone. Utah's a good place to live. It's one of the safest places to live. It has, I think now it's rated the #1 economy in the country.
Right.
Like, all those things are true.
Right.
And so, but then it does suck because it's like my parents, when they were my age, were moving into that house where we grew up together in West Jordan, right?
Uh-huh.
Me and Brittany can't move.
Yeah, we could. Me and Brianna could never move into those houses.
No.
Like we
just can't move in general.
Right.
Like, where would we go?
Yeah, where would we go? Our rent's $1,000.
Right.
That's less than any 2-bedroom apartment.
Right.
Here.
Right.
You know.
Our rent. I think our rent is 12. It's like $1,280.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
How would we do that?
Where
Like,
else would you go with a 5-6-bedroom house?
Brittany would literally have to. She would have to work full time. And it's like, and that's the thing is like, that was another
teacher assistant.
That was another thing. Yeah, exactly. She'd have to teach. And that was another thing that people didn't understand. Like, we started doing these things. Like, we gave the economy double the amount of employees. So it's not about that women work or not work. That's not the issue. It's that we gave them we doubled the workforce. So then jobs became scarce. So then they didn't have to pay us a wage that mattered. And so now, and they still don't have to. And that's why it's like important that we close the borders and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the problem too, is like, it's okay to have a differing opinion. Like, for example, well, a lot of you are probably hearing me. It's like, oh, he's probably pretty conservative. It's like, yeah, on a lot of things I am. I'm not very conservative when it comes to healthcare.
Yeah.
I want a system like England has. Like, that's what I would go with, you know, or at least an American version of it, right? Like, we should always be looking to do it in the American way, so that I'm gonna die. Almost got there. We should always do it in an American and innovative way. But I want universal health care, and I want us to do it the way that America would do it.
Right.
Whatever that is.
Right.
I don't care what it is, but we need, and if universal health care is not, like, the way I'm thinking about it is not the answer, that's fine. Then let's find whatever the answer is.
Yeah.
Like, because for me, it's not about being right or wrong. It's about, like, okay, I have a master's degree in economics. So, like, I understand, like, how a lot of that stuff works. I'm fairly competent at it. So then let's figure out a way to figure out how to do what's best for everyone.
Right.
And so, and you, like, especially you and your family, like, you know exactly what I'm talking about more than I know what I'm talking about. You guys have way more things that happen to you because of this messed up system that we're in.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I wasn't paying attention, and I took the wrong other move.
Yeah. And I'm the same way. Yeah. Like, a lot of values I have are conservative. Yes.
Most.
Yeah.
Most of them are.
Yeah. But then I'm like, health wise, I think a lot of the reason why Americans are so fat and unhealthy and type 1 diabetes isn't fixed.
Right.
Like,
the
thing that they're doing is containing type 1 diabetes. They're just making it easier to contain it.
Yeah, it's like when an oil spill happens, they, instead of, like, actually cleaning up the mess, you're right on it. I 100% agree with what you're saying.
And it's like, you have to fix the boats.
Yeah.
You know, you have to fix.
You have to actually get the oil out of the water. Like, you actually have to clean up the animals. You have to actually, like,
Uh-huh.
Right.
But no, they just like, all right, well, those animals are dead. Let's just contain it from going any further out.
Right. And it'll just sit there for the rest of time. Like
Yeah.
it's just going to sit. It's just going to be an oil spill forever. Like we're never actually going to fix the oil spill. It'll literally sit there for the rest of time.
Right. And it's like, they aren't trying to fix type 1 diabetes. And it's really sad. It's really,
Right.
really hard to live.
Well, and that's the whole thing about being an American. Like we're supposed to be this super ultra like innovative land and people, but we really need it for
Right.
this sector. Like we
Yeah.
really need it.
Like
But we haven't done anything about it, or at least nothing really significant in a long time.
Like I'm
Cancer,
super,
same thing.
yeah. Like I'm super grateful I live in the U.S.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't want to live
Because-
anywhere else.
Yeah, because it's
But it's okay to recognize things when they're not good.
right,
Yeah,
and it's like,
It's
but
okay.
we also live in the U.S.
right.
Like, even
Well, and that's just us. I feel like that's just also us holding ourselves and our country to a high standard. It's like, no, we are taking on the mantle of being. Why is Gengar just sitting there?
yeah,
What is he upset about?
I don't know. Oh, there he is.
Weird.
Yeah, I agree, but the good news is that X worked the
Yeah.
other week.
Yeah.
Like it worked.
Yeah,
It-
with the CR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like that was my thing. I don't know. Like I was like, but it worked this time. The politicians were being politicians and trying to get all the pork, all the fun
Yeah.
stuff, and you send out an image of this is what this bill looks like, and we haven't even had it for a day.
Right.
And it's bigger than the Bible.
Right.
And it's like, no, don't vote on this. And all of a sudden it's dead. And
Yeah.
it turns into a 150 page thing that only did 3 things.
Right.
And it's like, that is what Americans want.
Yeah. Well, right, because it's like, is it about being, the people? Sable, you're perfect. I don't know if we're gonna win still, but I love it.
Yeah. But I also read another statistic that the class disparity right now is more than the French Revolution disparity.
That's crazy.
That's
I
scary.
died super fast. And look, good old Gengar. Where is he? Gengar's just off in La La Land, just doing what he wants. This is why this game is toxic. This is why everyone hates him. And because he's going to score the most points, he's going to get MVP, right? Because he just put in 100. But we lost. And we lost because he was off doing his own thing. So good job. Good job, Gengar. You
Did
are
nothing.
You're a champ.
Did nothing for
I
you.
literally hope this Pikachu kills you. I hate you.
Jeez.
What a jackwagon. If you're going to play this game, be a good teammate. Like, it's okay to, like, make mistakes and mess up. That's not a big deal.
Right.
It's not a big deal at all.
Right.
But don't do that. Don't do that. Like, on purpose. Like, well, at least it feels like he did it on purpose, right?
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
And then he becomes MVP.
Right.
Yeah.
Ah, annoying.
Ah.
Just the worst. Absolute worst. This has not been a good master rank. This has been well, and I keep picking Decidueye. I shouldn't pick Decidueye. Anybody else but Decidueye. I just want. Well,
And then
I just need to learn him better, I guess.
all the grandparents and all your parents, your boomer parents are like, why aren't you having more kids? And it's like, because I can't.
Well, yeah, right. It's like I would love, so me and Britt, we're not able to have kids, but
Uh-huh.
there's lots of ways. We adopted two, and like we could do foster care. We could like there's more ways, right?
Mhm.
And it's like, but the just to put in the application for adoption is $27,000 just for the application, and then overall it was like 50 for Jamie, and so it's like we, and then we did in vitro, and that was 15, and then it didn't work. And so it's like, you guys are scam artists. Like, that's what I was telling Brittany. I kind of got frustrated. We're kind of fighting about it, but I was like, those doctors should be ashamed of themselves. Like, you charged us 15 grand and it didn't work. Like, you should not get paid if it doesn't work. Like,
Right.
you should have to like, okay, so it just like insurance works, right? It's like we all pay into it. And then when there's an accident, like they pay out. Like that's the whole point of it, right?
Right.
That's how in vitro should work too. It's like, okay, like some of you, it's going to work on the first try. And so we're going to make a pretty good profit from that, because in reality, it doesn't take 15 grand to make this all work, right? So they have, they make profit or whatever, right? And it's like, but some of you, it's going to take 3 times. And we're still going to make some money off of all the other ones where it works the most, or we're going to innovate so that most likely it'll work on the first try. But those other people that don't, we will do it until you get a baby.
Right.
Right. Or, and if we don't, because like maybe there is something that just like maybe Brittany can't have kids for whatever reason, or it's me or whoever it is, then it's like we will refund you that money. Because we don't take money without giving you a result. It is absolutely atrocious. And the thing is like, I can understand even maybe in other areas where you can't do that. And I do get that. But again, the most important thing that we can probably do as a society is have more kids. But we are not incentivized to have more kids.
Right.
Because of all the things that you're saying.
Not at all.
If I could have a bigger house, or I could move up in the world, or I could pay for college for them to all go, or whatever it is, then yeah, I would have 7.
Yeah. I'd have 5. Yeah.
Just
Sure.
like our families. Like my family was a small LDS family, and my parents had 4 kids.
Yeah.
And that's small.
Small.
That's not a big family for
Yeah.
LDS people.
And the biggest family, the dad worked in a candy shop.
Yeah. Yeah. And I completely agree.
And it's like,
So if you guys
I'm
want this,
sorry, I have 10 years of accounting experience, and I can't live in that house. I couldn't afford it.
no.
Like that house that we're talking about, we know who we're talking about. It's easily a 1/4 acre lot, and it's easily 500,000 to 600,000.
Yeah. Well, I bet it's in the 7s.
Yeah,
I bet it is.
that's how much square feet is
and
there.
it makes me sad because I told Britt, it's like I actually want to buy the house I grew up in. I want to buy
I
it.
would love to buy the house I grew up in.
I want to buy that house. And, it's not for sale right now, but if it ever did, it's like there's no way. There's no way. And it's like and that's the thing. If I could have bought it from my parents, I
Yeah.
would have.
Yeah. So when my parents moved in, they bought that house for $90,000. It was brand new built.
Yeah.
Like they were building it.
Right.
So it was 90,000, and my dad made 120,000
Right.
as an air traffic controller.
Well, and that was like, that's a good salary.
It's a great salary. It was the late 90s
I mean,
too.
we would feel blessed right now having that salary.
Right. And he talked budget and everything, and like, yeah, just work hard.
Right.
And it's like, man, you know what?
Yeah.
Like,
You can kind of take that working hard thing and kind of shove it.
yeah, it just is like,
Ugh.
you know, there's a reason no one's listening to Dave Ramsey anymore,
Yeah.
because you can't
Right.
save your way through this.
Nope. Yeah. No,
And that just drives me nuts. And it's like, yeah, save $1,000 for an emergency. I don't know. It's like an emergency
Yeah,
is
no.
an
$1,000.
emergency room, and that's $2,000, dude.
Right.
Like, that's not saved money.
Right.
That's a tire.
Right.
That's not getting yourself out of an emergency.
Yeah.
That's a down payment.
We had 2 emergencies that happened this year, and it cost us over 10 grand.
Right.
Yeah.
We went to the yard twice, and it's going to be 4 or 5 with insurance.
Yeah. Right. And how much do you pay in insurance every month?
400.
Yeah. I think mine is, what is mine? So it's probably like 280, because it's
Yeah.
like I think it's 140. I think it's every paycheck.
Yeah. Almost 200 paycheck, like something in there. Pretty normal.
Yeah.
And it just feels like it's never going to end. And I think this is a lot of the Democrat fault.
Well, and
And-
rhinos and the rhinos. Yeah.
Right.
It's Democrats and the rhino for sure.
Right. Thinking that they know what's best.
How did that guy survive for so long? Jeez. There were 5 of us.
He had Joe Biden plan.
Well, Joe Biden. So Joseph Robino Biden, you schmuck. Like, you just absolute tool.
Like, when you think of the ultimate tool, Joe
Obama.
Biden is up there.
Obama.
Yeah.
He was a tool too.
He was a tool. Oh man. But what Trump did to the Cheneys is so glorious. So good. Like how they drove the Cheney family and even the Bush family a little bit.
Oh yeah. Oh no, like Jeb
Like-
Bush was supposed to be the heir apparent,
Uh-huh.
you know. He was at least supposed to be the nominee,
Right.
and he made him look, and that's the thing, is that is kind of what we've all like voted for. Like, we've all voted for, well, that's maybe unfair, because there's a lot of people that voted for Kamala, and a lot.
Right.
But if we're talking about like kind of how we're discussing it, it's like, yeah, we ended up with as much of a mandate as you possibly could have. Like, I understand why people bristle at that. I do. Nope, I don't want that. Actually, don't want to do that. But it's like when you recover a ton of seats, when you have, when you do win the popular vote, that hasn't been done in a long time. For Republican candidates, conservative candidates. When you have the Argentine president winning like he did,
Right.
and because essentially he, and he's done so well, and like, having lived in that country, it's like I know exactly like how terrible it was.
Uh-huh.
I know very well why he was elected.
Uh-huh.
You know, and I'm guessing that the same thing's going to happen probably for Canada. You know, I would imagine.
I
Maybe
imagine
I'm
too.
wrong, but
they're almost to the point of like, what is it?
ugh,
Not annex. Like, and not, it's like alienating, but
shoot.
exile.
Yeah,
They're like almost making Trudeau going into exile.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
like that's how mad some of these Canadians are, and so there, I heard another thing today that their economy is about as big as Mississippi's is.
oh yeah,
The state
Yeah.
of Mississippi. They used to be like the third in the world.
yeah,
And then Trudeau came in and just annihilated it.
Right.
Just like, nope. And for what? For what? For global, like the
right. Well, and for their ideas of what they think the new order should be. You know, oh my gosh,
and they're
I
just
died
getting
so fast.
and they're just getting rocked because when push comes to shove, government is for the people.
Right.
Is for their people to improve and to be protected, not for the government to protect other countries or
Right.
other people's people,
Right.
you know?
Yeah,
it's
and that's like, yeah, no, you're right.
and you know, there's a reason that Trump won all 7 swing states because they saw what they did to
which
Canada.
is also crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because they saw what they did
That's
to North
crazy.
Carolinians.
yeah.
Like, send people more than $700.
Well, and that is why X is so valuable. And admittedly, then we started hearing all the time about like, oh, we want to censor X. We like after the election, like that was a very big talking point about we don't want information out essentially.
Right.
And it's like, no, that like Musk, that is why Musk is like an important figure.
Right.
And like, you know, and he's gotten other people like Zuckerberg to kind of like flip on what he did, you know, and he's probably just trying to save his butt.
Right.
But even if that is the case, it's still welcome. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like it's like, please, like change the policies that you were using because this is actually like,
Right.
we need you to, you
Right.
know, like this, that would be very beneficial for us if you
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, it would be. It's just nuts. Like, when I heard that the disparity between, you know, lower class and upper class is more, like, the gap is more than it was in the French Revolution.
Well, and it is hard and it is difficult because it's like it's the same thing that I recognize. So like being a member of the church and like still going to church on Sunday and all that stuff. It's kind of the same thing that happened with them where it's like, so even though I still believe in it all, the things that look unsavory, whether they even are or not, because I'm not going to pretend like I know everything. You don't know everything, and none of us do, right? Like we don't have the full picture, but that's actually kind of the problem. Is like I am in favor of like the church actually having an audit that is as transparent as humanly possible.
Right.
So like I do want to know where every single dime goes.
Right.
I want to know that. And I feel like us as members deserve it. Like so I want to know, every dime that that is sent. I want to know where it goes, where it is going. I do. And I think that would be important.
Right.
So it's because it's like, it's unfair for people, because even though I still believe in it 100%, and like you and my brothers are kind of in, you know, the same camps that you're in, that like it is absolutely reasonable that you're in the camps that you're in. Because they just haven't been as transparent as they should.
Right.
Right. And it's like, so it'd be nice if like, it would be nice if that would happen. And that is a problem that the church has. And what's so funny is it doesn't feel like they necessarily recognize it.
Right.
Which is also kind of an issue. It's like,
right.
Look, like, or at least just like, tell me why. It's like, well, we're afraid that if we do this, and just be honest, like just be vulnerable, like be vulnerable with us all, and just be like, you know what, this is actually why we don't. And then we as the people, right, if we're thinking of it as like a government, like we're talking about the government, we then should be like, okay, like we agree with that, or no, we don't. We actually still think, because this is a policy thing. This isn't a doctrine thing.
Right.
Doctrine, it's like, no, you're the leaders of the church, and you are meant, like, we believe you to be a prophet, so you're supposed to like prophesy to us, and then it's our choice to follow you or not. Just like Jesus, just like David, just like anyone. That's how we in the church view, you know, prophets.
Sure.
But this stuff is not prophetic. It's not, this is the nuts and bolts of running a multi-billion-dollar church. And I do believe that I think it must change.
Right.
Like it must.
Right.
And honestly, and if they do, I actually think that not only are a lot of people going to join, but I think a lot of people are going to come back.
Right.
Because they're going to feel like,
they would.
Oh yeah, and not even just for the fact that it's just like people like to feel like they're listened to.
Right. Yeah.
Even it's just like, oh yeah, we heard you guys, and like that was a good idea, and we, you know, because we claim, you know, being the Church of Christ and all that stuff, we're all for it. And I think that would go a long way.
Yeah.
And it's okay for people to just be like, yeah, we understand those principles of obedience and we understand those things, but you're making it harder for people to follow you. Like,
right.
And I don't think they, if I were giving them advice, I'd be like, this would actually help. Like this would help our church and help, like, cause we literally, people of the church believe that it is Christ's church. Like that is a literal classification of the things that we believe.
Yeah. And
we just need to do a better job. And that's why I say it's like, I understand why people feel the way they felt or feel the way they feel in its relation to how they've chosen to go about their life now. Because it is kind of like, it seems, even though I don't think they are doing things that are sketchy, you're making yourself look like you're doing things that are sketchy. And that's dumb.
Yeah.
Like, why do that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's like, why?
Yeah, like you can be smarter about it. Like, and be generous
to the people. Do what you said you were going to do. Do what you said you're doing.
Yeah. Well, and what they used to do.
Right.
Like Joseph Smith, like from my understanding of church history, they were very like forthcoming about everything that they were doing. Like, now there were some things it was like, because I know like the whole polygamy thing, so it's like, yeah, I understand. So there's not exactly, but I think with money, I think with tithing, they were like really like a lot more what's the word, transparent when it came to tithing stuff.
I think so too. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Like, I could be wrong.
I know that there were a lot of like bank issues and fraud issues. I've heard that. I haven't done my research on it. but it's like the Book of Mormon almost bankrupted them from trying to get it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
And
so they were like-
Martin Harris had to sell his farm to even get it published.
Right.
And then, yeah.
But it's like, yeah, they were a poor church trying to get
Right.
footing and get going.
Right. It was like a couple hundred members or whatever it was. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even think they had reached 1,000 by that time.
Yeah.
Maybe they had, but still 1,000's not that much. Like, it's
Right.
that's small, especially for the endeavor that it eventually became. I mean, it's a multi, it's billions of dollars now, and every country that allows us to be in their country, we're in. So it's like,
Yeah.
we're very like
Yeah.
all those things. So
Yeah. But you know me and my feelings toward the dummy companies that they built and tried to hide, and
yeah.
well,
and that's what's hard too, because it's like I believe them when they say that it wasn't like, I don't think the prophets, I think they got bad advice from people they trusted.
Yeah,
that's what I
bad
feel.
intent, and
Yeah, and those people might have had bad intent. I don't know. So like, I don't believe that it was the prophets that had the, but still,
right.
There's like, it's about transparency. It's about like, okay,
Yeah.
like this happened.
But then it's like, where's your law of discernment, dude? You should have known.
Sure, like
you're
there's
the prophet.
things, right? And so,
You
so there's things that like, yeah, it's like, and the thing is they should have had. Those are, that's a good point. So like, questions should be asked like that, and then they can be like, well, yeah, like this is why we would still consider ourselves prophets, even though that is a good point. That's a good question. Not just to be like, okay, like the book is sealed on it and we're not, going to answer anything else about it. It's like, well, no.
Yeah,
you,
and
you still need to answer
they
for some things we feel.
Yeah, they said
We're
and that
killing it,
chapter
by
is
the way.
closed.
Yeah.
And it's like, that bugs you.
That is frustrating. Like that. Yeah.
We consider this matter closed. And it's like, oh, you do.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the thing is like, well, maybe you guys do, but we as the members, we have more questions. And like, yes, it's like Oaks when he, and I think it's taken a little out of context. This might have been just a bot game.
You guys crushed them.
Yeah. I don't know if it's
a minute 30 left.
This might be a bot game, but so it might not be actual players that were playing. So that might be sad for me. Well, I'll be able to tell once the game is over.
Right.
But no, it's like, it's just like, someone ran into our church a couple of years ago when Jamie was in nursery, and he went through the wall and Jamie normally sits right where that was. So had he been sitting there, he would have been crushed by the car and the bricks and the table that he would have been on. Probably would have killed him. Okay. I heard that this happened and obviously made sure that Jamie was okay. And, oh yeah, this is definitely a bot game. Players are not that stupid. They just gave me a little bit of like, hey, you've lost too many times. We're going to help you out. I hate it when they do that. Makes me feel stupid. But 4 points is 4 points, I guess. But so, so then I go and I'm like upset. I'm like, you know how I can be.
Yeah.
And I was like, and so the bishop was there and I was like, why aren't the police here? What's going on? And he's like, well, nothing bad happened. So we didn't call the police. And I kept it cool in front of him. But I went home and on Facebook, I ripped them all a new one. And I was furious.
Yeah.
And people came out and were upset, a little upset with me because I had put them on blast. I was just like, I don't care. And so people were having like debates about it. And I was like, I don't care what you guys are saying. You as a church leader do not have the ability to determine whether the police should be called or not.
Right.
Like, and it was an older man that had done this. And so it's like the police need to come and determine whether he needs his license revoked.
Right.
I don't care that nothing bad happened. It could have happened, and he could perpetrate something bad happening in the future.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely ridiculous that no one has been called still. And I ripped all of them, all the leadership that day.
Yeah.
And it's like,
yeah.
you know, and I don't know if because nothing happened other than people were arguing. I don't know if those leaders even knew that I said anything. And it's like, and I hope they did.
Yeah.
Because like, I support them when they do good things, but not when they do that.
Yeah.
And it's like,
oh, I'd be pissed too.
and that's the frustrating thing is it's like, and that's what makes it hard. Cause it's like,
And it's like, what? Are you talking about mercy here? Like the dude ran through a wall.
Right.
And,
And
they're
it's
like, we need to be merciful
and, it's like,
and
then
look the other way.
Right. And it's like, well, guess what? Justice can't be robbed by mercy.
Right.
Like that's literally our doctrine. So it's like mercy is given for like the consequence still has to be paid. And then mercy is given by the person who paid the price. That's what mercy is. That's the whole point of the Savior. He didn't just get to say, oh, well, all your sins are forgiven just because I say so.
Right.
No, he literally had to pay the price for our rebellion.
Right.
And then we can be saved through his grace. That's literally the point. But justice has to be served. And then after justice is served by whoever does it, then mercy can be given by the person who paid the price of justice.
Like how did the guy just drive away?
They just, they pulled his car out, I guess, and fixed the wall, and that was that. And it's just like, and it's absurd. And that's
crazy, dude.
And that's the thing is like,
That's nuts.
yeah, it is.
That's absurd, man.
It's way absurd. I know.
Like,
And the thing is like, that's what I keep saying.
And then you hear these stories of them pressing charges against homeless people for trying to get warm in your buildings.
Yeah.
And it's like your buildings are sitting there empty 98% of the time.
Right. And honestly, if a person, because it's like, I get that. It's like, okay, like we don't want, people to use
Just
our
anyone
buildings
to walk
and
in.
it's
I
like,
get that.
yeah, it's like we get it, but it's like, then we need to find, we should probably find solutions to how to help these people that are in those, like, and look,
But
I think the church does a lot of good things, and they do a lot of good things in this vein. I do. And like, but the thing is like what we're talking about is.
But now there shouldn't be a single homeless person freeze to death in Utah.
Right. And like,
you know what I mean?
Right,
like, that's how I feel.
Yeah. We should have the community aspect of, yeah. And that's what I'm trying to say is like, I still, with all the warts that the church has, I still believe it to be the Christ church. But you're making it hard for everyone else to be able to discover that because of these things that you're making it harder.
Yeah.
And if you listened, maybe like just listen to some of your members who also have these ideas or concerns, and then maybe that can help you put the church in a direction that benefits more, because people do care about other people. We don't necessarily, because like me, I have a beard, I have long hair. You look more like a Mormon than I do.
Right.
Right.
I don't have an earring, and I don't have tattoos.
Right.
Like,
so it's like people would think that about you way before they would think it about me. And that's what's so silly about it. And
yeah.
And so it's like, and the sad thing is there's a lot of times that we in the church act a little too much like the Pharisees and not like the followers of Christ.
Right.
And that is something that we need to change. And that's something that we should be willing, like, we do good things. I think the church maybe gets a bad rap sometimes more than they deserve. But even saying that, there's still issues like you're saying. Like, and it's reasonable, like reasonable people can hear that and know that and be honest about it. Like, so it's like your concerns. It's like because it's like I keep saying, I believe it to be Christ Church, or at least even let's even take it a little bit bigger picture than that. It teaches good things about the gospel of Jesus Christ. Even if you just think, oh, it's just another church like Catholics or evangelists, whatever. That's fine. That's fine. That's not, I don't even need to really argue that point.
Yeah.
But it teaches good principles, values, all those things, which are good for society. But then if you're trying to make it more appealing, it's like the people that have these issues, like you, like my brothers, that have actually caused you guys to leave and have caused you guys to have these different things. It's not about like capturing you guys again to be like, oh, I was right, like we're the church. No, it's like, it's more about like the good that the capacity for good that we are capable of, that then could lead to the benefit of so many people.
Right.
So many people. And then being able to count ourselves as, because we as LDS people are also attacked because people don't think that we're Christian. And it's like, guys, like, we believe in Christ. Like, I understand why you say that. I understand like where it's coming from. And I try to be understanding of it, but it's like, no, we believe the guy who was on the cross is our savior. Even if we think that maybe like we have difference of opinions of what his doctrine meant or talked or whatever, but those are semantics, because like we all could be helping people, like you're saying, like helping the homeless or helping whoever it is, whatever societal ill that is available. LDS people could be, with more transparency, could even do more to help these people. And like you're saying, there's a lot of good ideas that come out of a lot of people that if we maybe did a better job of like me, like you wouldn't even judge me to be LDS.
Right.
I probably won't have callings because of hearings and that kind of stuff. But then it's like, well, but I'm also a teacher. It's like, perfect example. Tried to be a seminary teacher. They didn't want me, and I have good reason to believe why they didn't want me. But it's like, guys, like I have a proven track record with youth. Proven. Like in a different sphere. And the thing is if you gave me the sphere of the gospel, you know how much more successful I could be? Like, how much I could, like, good I could do? And I have all this experience in a different realm doing it. But because of the way you must have it, right? Like you must have people look this way. You are denying me the opportunity and denying potentially me being able to help. And that's all I want to do. If I could be a seminary teacher, I would do it tomorrow. Like all I want to do is preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's it. That's why I always end our streams with "Come unto Christ," because that's it. Like he's it for me. I definitely embody that whole vision of just like I want him, and that's it. Like I've almost died in his name, so like I get it and would willingly do so. And so it's just like, but yeah, people are just kind of caught up with things that don't matter, or they don't give transparency to things that do maybe matter for people, and it would be very helpful if they were more transparent. And so, yeah.
And I think there's so many different reasons why people leave or don't like a certain thing.
Right.
you know, and it's not a one size fit all. Or this
Right.
world would be very, very simple. And it's
Right.
just not,
Right.
you know?
Right.
Like,
Well, we have so
it's
many
like
different
no
needs.
matter how much the conservatives talk and are like, that was such a mandate. That was such an important thing that we
Right.
did. We killed them. Democrats need to just go away. Never
Right.
show their face in public again. And it's like, I'm sorry. Democrats are going to come back.
Right.
There's going to be something. And there's going to
Right.
be someone more charismatic and,
Right, a better
and do better.
candidate, yeah.
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 And they're going to have power again. That's the way the world works.
Right.
And it's like, and yes, like, sorry.
Take
you're-
that, other team. Sorry, go ahead.
And it's like,
Well, and the thing is nothing's actually been done yet.
Yeah.
That's the other problem, right? It's like, yes, we did all this stuff. So you better keep your end of the deal.
yeah,
Like, you
Yeah.
better do what you've been saying.
right. And it's like, or Democrats are going to come back even sooner.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my gosh, they sure wanted me.
yeah,
They're like, we'll let you all score 100 points. We just want that Pikachu.
not him.
Yes, he must die. Sounds good.
Yeah. And it's like, man, I don't know. So, but man, I think it hasn't been a good 10 years for the church. Like, they've been
No, yeah,
very
it's like,
judgmental
Sure.
and a lot of Pharisee verse, you know, Pharisees versus the sinners.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like,
Well, and yeah, and it's like so many things that didn't need to be, just things that didn't need to be the way that they have ended up. Like, they definitely could have. Man, we still might lose this game, man. Like, we needed Dum Dum over here to come and defend our goal, and he just decided to not.
Jeez.
We should be fine. We should be fine. Well, and that's the thing too, is it's like, because it's just like I'm preaching. It's like, you and my brothers are never going to be able to even make the Travail back because of the concerns you have, on top of like the continuing problem of not being transparent and not not being able to actually address your concerns. Because as soon as people actually address the concerns of people, then that's when kind of doors open a little bit, or
Right.
windows open a little bit. And honestly, it would be easier for all of us
Yeah.
if we just knew more.
Yeah.
Like if we had and then we would be more easily able to do the things that the gospel requires. Because
Right.
it's just like I was saying, it's like, if it's Catholicism, I will join tomorrow. Like, I don't care. Like, if
Sure.
it's Baptist, I don't care what it is. I will go there right now.
Yeah.
Like, I won't, and I don't care what anyone thinks about it.
Like, I would go back to church for my kids to have that community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
and
our
that's a good
neighborhood,
start. Right.
like our
Right.
neighborhood when we grew up, there was, it was
Yeah,
almost,
we grew up in an exceptional
yeah,
ward.
it was an exceptional area to live
Yeah.
because it was a very, like, every other house was an active
Right.
person that had a huge family
Right.
that you knew who you were and you grew up with them for 10 years all the way through high school.
Right. And you had
You know?
members that you felt like you could trust, and you had leaders that you felt like you could trust.
Yeah.
And you had your dad was a bishop, and like my dad was in the bishopric, and like Brittany's dad was in the bishopric. It's like
It's like the community
I was
there
in the
was,
bishopric when
Yeah.
I came home.
and it was so important for that area itself to get friends,
Right.
you know?
Right.
And like I've been struggling with, because Cameron is so social. Owen is
Right.
happy to watch TV all day, every day. It doesn't matter.
Right. Right.
But Cameron is so social, and it's like, I wish I had a neighborhood like that for you,
yeah.
Cameron, where you had 5 houses you could choose to go hang out at.
Right.
And I knew I could call 5 different people and be like, where's my daughter? And one of them would know,
Right.
you know?
Well, on that, yeah. Well, on that maybe a start that for you guys, and like you've done this with your kids, is like coming to our church. Maybe that's where you start.
Yeah.
Because even though it's not in the neighborhood, it's like, well, it's a good start to like building that community, and then the more consistency that happens, the better for them. And so it's like,
But then I think back and I'm like, but I couldn't, there's not very much conversation I could have with these people that I would agree with, you know? Like,
well, and that's what's hard.
Feel like I'm not being judged
right
for it, for
Well,
not having 5 kids.
That is what's hard, is like people, because it's like a give and take, right? It's like both sides of the coin. It's like we all have to be humble, but at the same time, it's like, if you want people to be a part of the solution, or you want people to have callings, or you want people to like actually care about being a part of the community, you, just like you're saying, you can't be judged for the fact that you're a sinner, because that's the whole point that we go to church,
right?
Is because we're sinners. Like that's literally like people who aren't like Christ taught, people who aren't sick have no need of a physician. And it's like, because we're all, and his whole point was we're all sick except for him. That's why he can give us his grace to save us.
Right.
And that's the point. And it's like, yeah, no, I agree. That's why we have to have, that's why conversations like this are important. And it's not about being right or wrong. It's about drawing, like the whole Christmas season. It's literally about drawing closer to Christ. That's it. And and that's why we need what we need. And then that's when you can get into the minutia of like, well, why is this the church I choose to go to instead of Catholicism, instead of other things? Right?
Yeah.
Well, we love you guys. I think we're going to end it right there. We actually did quite a long stream.
Yeah.
So
I'm
good.
tired.
Yeah. But it was so fun. We ended on a good note. Pikachu is my bae. And I love all you guys. Again, message of this whole thing, coming to Christ, be saved. We love you. Have a good rest of your week.
Have fun.